Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at Cosmos Atom. I do want to say that I'm not a financial advisor. You should do your own research before investing money into crypto. And if you haven't seen the previous update on Atom, I would encourage you watch that before watching this one. The link is going to be in the top right hand corner of the screen. This way, you're going to have more context. Now, let's jump into the TA. So taking a look at Cosmos Atom on the daily chart, the chart is pulled from Binance on TradingView. So you can see that we did bounce off of this support level very nicely here. And I did give you this level, and this was at $11.20. And yeah, like I said, I gave you this level because I looked at these two local highs that we printed in July, right? And you had a move to the downside every time you went there, but after you broke up, that was a nice support level, up and down, and then from here you landed all the way back on that exact same level. So I did have this on the charts, and if you take a look at my previous updates, I tell you that this is a good entry level. Now, granted, I didn't enter here because I already have enough Cosmos for staking, but I did say that if we drop all the way down below $10, that's where I would be accumulating even more. That did not happen, and that didn't happen yet because still we're not out of the woods in terms of Bitcoin, although Cosmos Atom has been performing very well. Now, our major target right now is $17.12, which is the high that we printed here in September. Now, if we manage to break that, that's going to be great. That's going to be another level for us to look out for. And if we want to take a look at some potential targets to the upside, so basically we take the low here in October 13th to be more specific, and we take the high that we printed in September. That is going to give us a 1.618 target at $23 for Cosmos Atom. And I do want to say that that's very likely for us to reach if we start pumping. If we get this mini altcoin season in November, we can definitely see this strong move to the upside for Cosmos Atom. Osmosis was just added to Binance, so there is some hype behind the blockchain. And like I said, $23 here, 13 cents. That's going to be a very nice level for you to take profits at. Now, if you got into Cosmos Atom here at the 786 Fibonacci that I gave you in the last video, you're already up 36%. To the September swing high, you're going to be up 52%. And to the 1.618 target, you're going to be up 107%. Now, granted, this does not mean that we are going to get to the 1.618 level. For that, we would need to first break above this swing high here. After we do that and have a successful backtest of support, then we potentially could be looking at that extension level at the 1.618. You obviously have your minimal target at $19.50, which is the 1.272. Then you have the 1.414 at $20.96, and then you have the 1.618. So these are our midterm targets, okay? And now we did get we are getting the inflation data November 10th. So since crypto doesn't really care about the Fed and all the bearish news coming from the US, maybe once we get the inflation data, and inflation is not good, the numbers aren't good, trust me, or don't trust me, just go look it up and then see what's going on. But if you listen to Biden and his people, well, they'll tell you that it's all under control or whatever. So inflation is not all right by any means. And when we get the data November 10th, then crypto may see a little dip. However, we did expect that when we were getting the results from the FOMC meeting happening at the beginning of November, and that didn't really affect crypto. The interest rates were raised by another 75 basis points, and that didn't affect crypto, and we're pumping. So the thing is, if we get the inflation data and crypto still continues to pump, that's very good news for crypto. And in that case, we might as well take out $23, okay? And breaking this high that we created in September, that would be very bullish as well. So let's keep that Fibonacci retracement there. I'm going to remove the Fibonacci with the bearish fibs, okay? for now. And actually, you know what? I'm going to keep that just in case. I know it may look a bit confusing. It's really not, just one Fibonacci to the upside, one Fibonacci to the downside. Now, if I zoom out and show you the large Fibonacci that I have on, and I've had this on for 2 years now, and if I show you, there we go. So that is our swing low, March 20, or March, what was that? March 14th in 2020, and the swing high is in April of 2021. We reached the 0.5 level on the Fibonacci retracement here in June, and from there we've been up, and like a 3x from June. That's a pretty good, you know, trade in my opinion during a bear market. Moving over to the daily RSI, as you can see, we did have a wick, or not a wick, a move to the downside here, all the way down to the pink trend line that I've been promoting so much on the channel. And as you can see, nice bounce from the pink trend line. We did have a little fake out below, but still that was a good entry point. And right now you're on your way towards the overbought. Now, once we get to the overbought, and once we enter this yellow resistance zone, that may be a good time to start taking some profits, because since January of 2021, there were only 2 instances when we were above that resistance zone. Once that happened in February, and the next time was in August of 2021. All the other instances when we were overbought on the daily chart, we actually got rejected from this yellow resistance zone, as you can see. And this almost happened once again here in September, but we didn't quite reach that resistance zone. And it could happen again here in November, so be on the lookout for that. If we see a capitulation for Bitcoin, we see some bearish news coming out, or whatever that it is that could happen to bring the Bitcoin price below $14,000, which every day that passes on, that, you know, that eliminates or makes the possibility of us going below $15,000 less and less. And I think that if within the next 80 to 70 days we don't print a new low for Bitcoin, then we're pretty much kind of out of the woods. And starting with spring of 2023, that's when I think we're going to start climbing and printing higher highs and higher lows towards the 2024 bull market. So let's see if that plays out. But you do have the support levels below you on the RSI in case we see that capitulation. You have the pink trend line here. You have the green trend line. As you can see, we've retested the green trend line twice in May and in June this year. And the pink trend line has been a support since November 2021. We had this fake out here during the May and June area here for 2022. After that, we went above it, back tested as support, another move to the upside here. So you can see why this pink trend line is important. Now, I do want to switch over to the Binance website. And before we continue the video, I quickly want to mention my Patreon. Now, if you like the channel and you like the content that I provide for you on this channel, then feel free to check my Patreon out for more exclusive content like low cap gem calls, my buy alerts, my sell alerts. I do take a look at your technical analysis requests, at your video requests. As you can see, there are multiple tiers which you can choose from. And if you want to support the channel, then this is the best way to do so. As you can see, I do post quite frequently. I have almost 1,000 posts, I think there, or getting closer to 1,000 anyway. And I did start my Patreon a year ago. So yeah, let's get back to the video. So switching over to the weekly chart, you can see that we are in this large falling wedge pattern, and we are actually breaking above the resistance, which we started retesting here in January, once again in April, once again in September, and right now in November we're breaking out, and this is a very, very bullish sign. Your technical target is going to be over here at $45, or I should say $44.50 per coin, and that's looking really, really bullish for Cosmos. Now, we do have to pay attention to this golden ratio on this Fibonacci retracement, because this is a different retracement that I have on. So this is with the low that we printed in June and with the high that we printed in January. You get the 0.618 at $20.11. So essentially, as you all know, you print a high, you retrace down, you start retracing to the upside, you run into the golden ratio, and then you come back down, right? So if you get rejected from the golden ratio, that's called a dead cat bounce, and that's not a good thing for Cosmos if that happens. So we are above the 20 weekly EMA, which is the yellow line. We're starting to attack the 55 weekly EMA, and if we manage to break above that and we get to our $23 technical target, and we, sort of hold in this area, which I'm going to extend over here just so you can see it better. So this area in between $22 and $17, if we manage to solidify in this area, that's going to be great. If we manage to stay above the 55 weekly EMA, that's going to be great, because that will push or pull the 20 EMA towards the upside, and we may get the bullish cross on the weekly chart, and a bullish cross on the weekly chart, that's a very, very strong sign. So potentially we have bottomed here for Cosmos, and we're not going to be seeing those numbers even if Bitcoin starts dropping drastically. There is every possibility that we may see, something like this for Cosmos, where we come back down to retest the support of the falling wedge, but that is very unlikely, because that would be another 64% dump. And if we see Bitcoin dump to $12,000, most of the altcoins will drop, let's say 30-40%, and that would be in the $7 to $9 range for Cosmos Atom. And essentially, I would think that this is the area where we would land between $10 and $8.60, right? And that would be the area where I would be accumulating, to be honest with you. But just to let you know, the fact that we're breaking out of this falling wedge, that's really, really bullish. Like I said, we need to get above the golden ratio here and solidify ourselves above the 55 weekly EMA. Personally, not buying any Cosmos right now. If you haven't bought into Cosmos yet, then I would just wait a little bit, because you're buying green candles here. And of course, it depends on your financial situation and what's your outlook. If you're planning to sell in the next 5-6 years, then yeah, sure. Even if you buy Cosmos right now and you sell it at $500 in the next 6 years, then who cares? But if you're looking for a mid to short term trade, then buying after you've seen, this 40% move in 3 weeks, I think that's not really smart. But hey, I'm just a dude on the internet with a microphone telling, stating his opinion on things. So moving over to the weekly RSI. So as you can see, we didn't come back down to our support trend line here at 42.8. And I did tell you that if we see a rejection off of the light blue resistance trend line that we touched here in October, we would see a move all the way down to 42.8. And I was expecting that, because that is sort of our level below us. That's the immediate support below. That didn't end up happening, and we actually broke back into the falling wedge. And right now, you may run into some resistance. So take a look at the upper trend line of the falling, this is not a falling wedge, I do apologize, of the symmetrical triangle. You have one touch in February last year, one touch in September last year, and the next touch could be here in November of 2022. So if we run into that area, that may be a good area to take some profits, because like I said, you had 2 touches previously, so mathematically speaking, there is a good chance that we may run into that level once again. So thank you all for watching. I'm going to catch you in the next one, and take care. Goodbye.